Hey everybody, I'm Shannon Sommerville from the LineStar YouTube channel with your top 4 college football player prop bets for conference championship weekend. Now, conference championships might have lost a little bit of their luster since they introduced the 12-team playoff, but we've still got an opportunity to win some money with these player prop bets, so I'm going to give out 4. We're going to have 1 from the Big Ten, I've got 1 from the ACC, and 2 from the SEC championship game, so let's get into it. But before we do me a huge favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. A comment enters you into the contest that we have every day on this YouTube channel, whereby if we go 4-0 in our picks, one randomly selected commenter will win $60. Got to be in it to win it, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. Also, our picks are available Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, Parlay Play. And if you are first downloading those apps, make sure to use the promo code LineStar so you can get a nice deposit match plus 1 free month of the LineStar app, which is exactly what I'm using to help me find the best value in the prop market. Listen, college football player prop bets are really hard, so the Props AI tool is so helpful with showing me LineStar's projection and how it compares to all the different lines that are out there. So I highly recommend checking it out, linestarapp.com. All right, let's get into these games this weekend. We're focusing on the Saturday game specifically, and the first one we're going to look at is the Oregon Ducks going up against Penn State. And ultimately, I think I trust the Ducks in this one. So if you're betting the sides in this one, I like Dan Lanning and the Ducks. However, from a prop perspective, I am looking at the Oregon Ducks defense to be able to limit Penn State's rushing offense, which is basically what their offense is predicated on. So we're going to go with Nicholas Singleton under 65.5 rushing yards. And this one jumped out to me on the Props AI tool specifically because LineStar and the consensus projection are both endorsing the under here. So I like that. LineStar's projection at 55.6, the consensus, which is basically an average of other industry leaders and their respective projections, that's around 62. Now, Singleton's averaging 66 rushing yards per game, but he has been under in 6 of the last 7 games. I think he's going to struggle to find that explosiveness against an Oregon Ducks rushing defense that ranks 23rd nationally in limiting opposing teams' rushing yards. I ultimately just trust Dan Lanning and the Ducks to be able to get it done against Penn State here, so I am rolling with Nicholas Singleton under 65.5 rushing yards, and ultimately, if you're betting the sides, I like to lay the points with the Ducks. Next, let's head to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte for the ACC championship game. And the Clemson Tigers are underdogs in this game going up against SMU. In this game, I like the Tigers and their passing attack against SMU. So we're going to roll with Bryant Wesco Jr., the freshman wide receiver for the Tigers, over 47.5 receiving yards. LineStar and the consensus both with us on the over here. And SMU is a great rushing defense. They have a great defense, period, but their rushing defense specifically is number 1 in the ACC. They're actually 34th nationally in pass defense, but I feel like they just haven't faced that many pass-heavy offenses, and I think Clemson's path to victory here is through the air and that passing game led by quarterback Cade Klubnik. Now, Wesco is a freshman who's come up big for the Tigers, especially in recent weeks. He's cleared this 47.5 line 3 of the last 4 weeks. I think the key here, too, is keep an eye on the trenches and that offensive line for Clemson. I think they're going to have to give Cade some time back there. They're going up against a very good defensive line for SMU. They rank 11th in the nation in pass rush grade, so keep an eye on that one. But I think if they hold up, watch out for Bryant Wesco. Once Cade Klubnik has some time back there to throw, I think he could find his freshman wide receiver for some clutch catches. And if anyone can game plan for an ACC championship game, it is Dabo Swinney. So if you were betting the sides in this one, I would roll with Clemson as the underdogs, especially since Dabo Swinney is 8-1 in the ACC championship game. So I got to go with the Tigers on that one. Lastly, I have 2 for you from the SEC championship game, 1 for Texas, 1 for Georgia. I'm a little concerned about my Bulldogs in this one as they're coming off that 8 overtime win over Georgia Tech. If anyone can get them dialed back in, it's probably Kirby Smart. Doesn't make me any more confident in my Bulldogs heading into this second contest against the Texas Longhorns. And these ones are a little bit harder to handicap anytime 2 teams are facing each other for the second time. But in this one, I kind of like Quintrevion Wisner, the running back for Texas, over 18.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection is 21. The consensus is 20. I think it's going to be interesting just to see how Kirby Smart and the Georgia defense are going to play this one. The last time they tried to use a lot of disguises and drop back into coverage to try to confuse Quinn Ewers, which they absolutely did. So I think either way Georgia plays it, the Longhorns might try to use Quintrevion Wisner in the passing game as a quick option if Georgia does decide to bring the blitz. And this is a line at 18.5 that Wisner's been over for the last 5 games. He's an explosive runner who has the potential to do some damage against this Georgia defense. It's got to be a little bit tired after that 8 overtime win over Georgia Tech. So I am rolling with Quintrevion Wisner over 18.5 receiving yards. We'll go to Georgia's side of things. Listen, one of the biggest problems for this Georgia Bulldogs offense has been drop passes, but sometimes they've had success going to their tight end. So I'm going to roll with Oscar Delp, the Georgia tight end, over 15.5 receiving yards. I think they lean into their tight ends here. LineStar's projection is 18.6, consensus at 19.8. I think Texas would be wise to dial up the pressure against Carson Beck, whose performance dips when he's blitzed. That could translate into Beck having to get the ball out a little bit faster and more short intermediate passes. And I think if that's the case, they should absolutely drop plays for Oscar Delp because he's been proven to be a very reliable receiving option. Comes up big in those clutch moments when you need to get a first down. Oscar Delp has delivered. And whereas the rest of the offense seems like they're dropping passes all the time, it seems like Oscar Delp has been a reliable option in the passing game. He's no Brock Bowers, but we'll take Oscar Delp over 15.5 receiving yards in this one. So those are my top 4. I am entering in an entry on Underdog. We're doing a little flex entry for that one. So again, if we go 4-0, one randomly selected commenter will win $60 to enter into that. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. And just as a note, when you are placing player prop bets for college football in the postseason, it's going to be a little tougher. The lines are a lot sharper. So for this, in terms of just betting responsibly, I always kind of dial it back whenever I'm heading into the playoffs of really any sports season because the lines are sharper, more people are betting. I like to be a little bit more cautious, so I dial it back in terms of the units that I'm spending. Hopefully that advice helps you out. But if you've got any locks for this weekend, please let me know in the comments. Always trying to hear from you guys what you're rolling with in the player prop department. So good luck in all of your prop betting, and if you're betting sides as well, I hope you have a very lucrative weekend in college football. It should be a fun one. Enjoy the games.